I'm Corbett Wall with DB Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, June the 15th, where global uncertainty has kind of been hovering over the market here this week. And you know, it's not that we're in a bind really, it's just uncertainty. And nobody really knows what's going on. That G7 summit didn't go too great up in Canada. They were one of our very best customers. There's a lot of uncertainty about NAFTA, whether they're going to continue to talk on that, renegotiate that, do away with it altogether. Mexico's a good customer of us when it comes to beef. We hate to mess those trades up, but of course we know we have trade deficits and we have to do something. But you think about that, Canada is just over 1/10 of the population of the United States. I know there's a lot of land mass up there, but there's really not that many people, and there's so many of them in their high concentration areas. They've got several big cities up there. You get out in the rural parts and I mean you can drive for days and not see anybody. But you know, the USA is still more than 2.5 times larger than Mexico. But they're pretty good customers. But you start thinking about Asia and getting into some better trade deals with them. China has 4.25 times more people than we do. If we could really get into China and start selling them a lot of product, and not just beef, but a lot more of our ag products, a lot more grains, things like that, we don't have enough of it to sell to them. They have got so many people over there. They're getting a bigger middle class. They're wanting to improve their diets, and it wouldn't take a lot of meat or a lot more grains to do that. But you know, it kind of balances out really. But this week the board has kind of been dwelling on the negative parts, the NAFTA parts, different things like that. The board's been down all week long. The good news about the board being down all week long is it's Friday and it's time for it to bounce back. And that's kind of what it does, and there'll be some profit taken on Friday. Hopefully it's enough to end the week on a positive note, and we might be able to turn this fat cattle deal around a little bit. We're going to lose a little bit of money on the fat cattle trade. We just hope we can keep it as close to last week's as what as we can. We were at 115. We're not going to be able to hold that, but hopefully within reaching distance of it. But look at the board on Thursday. August live cattle down 202 to end the day at 101.87. June was down $1.67 at 106.25 at June 15th. We're starting the day at 106.25. The last established fat cattle market was 115. Now, if those things don't come together at maturation, what is the point in having it? Although you know your cattle feeders are not going to complain, they're going to continue to enjoy the basis there, but not used to getting it over halfway in the month, the spot month. But August feeder cattle down 197 to end the day on Thursday at 143.67. October down $1.67 to end the day at 144.77. Your fat cattle trade, we have not seen the significant market yet, but we have had some trade mostly all in the northern plains, and the biggest part of that in the Iowa, southern Minnesota area. But through Wednesday they had sold 13,300 head negotiated. Live sales have been mostly 114, in and around 114. But the weighted average through Wednesday was 113.67 on just short of 1,400 head of steers. Your dress market is mostly 181. It's in there anywhere from 180 and 185, but mostly 181 with a weighted average there on dress steers 180.63, and that was on just short of 4,000 head of steers. Now that was through Wednesday. On Thursday, of course, the board was down hard again. We had a little bit more trade turned in Thursday morning, but like I said, we still haven't seen the big swing in the gates trade that we usually have late in the week. We'll see it sometime here on Friday, and it's going to be lower, but we just hope it's not too much worse than what we've already seen. But on Thursday, we did see some more trade in Iowa and Nebraska, mostly at 112, so that's going to be $1 to $2 lower than what we'd seen earlier in the week, and some dress trade from 177 to 180. But the Southern Plains has not traded a hoof yet, and we hope that they can hold in there at that 114, 113 at the worst. A lot of formula cattle being turned in. We're in the middle of that big glut of cattle. There's a lot of cattle to sell, and we're going to need to continue to market those. We kind of had a wheel fall off on our slaughter this week. We were looking for one of the biggest slaughters that we've seen in 7 or 8 years this week, like we have in the last few weeks that weren't a holiday week, but we had some problems in the Southern Plains, and plants not being able to run at full efficiency. And so far for the week through Thursday, 468,000. That's 9,000 less than last week and 5,000 less than the same week a year ago. Your actual slaughter that came in on this Thursday was for the Memorial Day week, so you couldn't tell a whole lot about it. Dressed steers weight was 851. That was 3 pounds bigger than the previous report, but you can't get a good measure on that lighter run. Box beef cutout values were lower again on Thursday. Choice cutouts 222.08 down 182. Selects down 33 cents at 201.97. Look at your feeder cattle market. Real-time index on Beef Market Central was up 24 cents on Thursday, with some the few sales that we did have were fairly impressive. Real-time index sitting at 139.76 late on Thursday. Pratt had a whale of a sale, 4,600 head, and right in the face of a lower board and lower cash markets all around them. Sold pretty darn good, mostly $2 to $5 higher. The Federal State Market News Service called the 7-weight steers up to $9 higher, but it was hard for us to see on the Cattle Market Central automated report that you see there. It shows that that 2 to 5 higher looked a whole lot more realistic and also stuck in there with the 7 weights. But you look at 768 head of 7-weight steers, average 752 at 150.214. That was $4.40 some cents higher. Your 8-weight steers, almost 1,100 head of them, averaged 866 at 139.64, and that weighted average was $1.38 higher than the previous week. Got some information from Lamona, Iowa. Had a good sale on Thursday. That's a market that we're working on getting on Cattle Market Central there. Set that up at the LMA convention, and we've got the clerical system programming that, and we're going to get dialed in and start getting Lamona for you. But got some information out of there for this past Thursday here yesterday. Jason Allen is partnering up with the World Champion Livestock Auctioneer for this year. Jared Miller, and they are managing that sale now. And the champion sold M.L. McCrae's cattle, a previous neighbor of mine over towards Maysville, Missouri, and I've talked about him before. He had a reputation, ran reputation cattle, a reputation operation top to bottom. I also had a reputation operation up there. It was just the other kind of a reputation, which that goes with anything. But look at ML's cattle. There are 3 loads of 809-pound steers, bring 148.50. 4 loads weighed 908 at 139.50. And Pratt, nothing to sneeze at there. I told you they had a whale of a sale in Pratt, Kansas. 67 head of steers weighed 795, almost 800 pounds, at 153.85. That's your feeder flash for Friday.